Frogging and knitting scare me. And so anyway, that's why I don't want to make a mistake. Hi y'all, my name is Janna-Kay and welcome to my Bible study and crafting channel, Flourish Evermore. So I'm hopping on during the middle of October, just to share with you progress on some 3 make-alongs that I am a part of. One you have heard about throughout this year because it is the Jayda and Stitches Fair Isle style calendar blanket for 2023. So I have finished the design for the month of October and did a little video because I wanted to show you all the whole entire blanket so far. 2 more months and then it's will be completed. And so I will put that video in here. So this is the month of October's pattern for the Jayda and Stitches Fair Isle style calendar blanket for 2023, and it is fall leaves. She had mentioned in the video about using a variegated yarn, and so I thought that would be a great idea, and I went and looked for variegated yarns while I was out at the shops with my husband. And this is the one that I found. It's by Charity L. Makes it. It's a DK weight, like the rest of the blanket. And the colorway is orange wood. I really wanted yellow, so I decided to go ahead and add the L Pure Gold. And this colorway is canary. I had used it for the diamond shape, which I'm going to open the whole blanket out so you can see it. And then the base color is L Pure Gold. I really wanted to keep everything L Pure Gold, but wanted the variegated. So the color for the base is Irish Glen. So yeah, so you can see the orange and kind of the red, and then this one has red, orange, and brown, and then I alternated it with the yellow. And that one's variegated. So it was kind of long strands of the variegated, so it didn't change quite as much as I thought it would, but I still think it turned out beautiful. So this is the blanket in its entirety, the Jayda and Stitches 2023 Fair Isle style calendar blanket. So January snowflakes, February hearts, March the clover, tulips, April, house May, diamonds, June, sun, July, sailboat, August, chain, September, and the fall leaves in October. So yeah, so I'm very glad that I did 7 repeats of the pattern because it is turning out to be long and thin. I'm sure we'll do a border. If not, I may put a border around it just to give it some width. All right, so the other make-alongs that I have joined is one that is called Not So Scary Halloween, and it is a few ladies that for whatever reason, they don't really celebrate Halloween, whether it's where they live, they just don't do scary things, don't, like me, don't like to be scared. I do not like horror movies or anything, the scarier side of Halloween. And I do live in a country where it's really not celebrated. And so I have done a couple of a project, but a couple of different ways. So I got this book, which I mentioned before, called Embroidered Crochet. I found that at the bookstore here. had found it on Amazon, which I'll put the link to that in the description box below. But anyway, decided to do some coasters. They turned out a little bigger because I used bigger yarn than was called for in the pattern, but I wanted to make some coasters, and my idea was to put pumpkin and maybe some mushrooms, some things that grow or harvested in the autumn season. And so I did two, and I did both of them. I did pumpkins. So this is the first one that I did. And I love the coaster. I love that it is a combination of the dark and the light brown with this surface slip stitch that's done on top. And I found a pumpkin, just like a coloring book drawing of a pumpkin, and that's where I got this design from, although it turned out a little bit longer instead of wider than the picture was. But I found that it was really hard to draw the design onto single crochet. This is a satin stitch, and it was really hard to do on single crochet. So satin stitch is one of the harder stitches because what's so difficult is keeping the stitches the same, going in the same direction, keeping them parallel to each other. And so what I ended up doing, I almost gave up. What I ended up doing is doing the stitches along the lines that are natural to the single crochet. So between each of the rows. Then I went back and added more stitches to fill in. It made for a pretty, I don't know if you can tell just how thick, but it made for a pretty thick back to the coaster. But I did cover it with felt and to cover up all the stitching and everything. And I did hot glue the felt on. I may go back and stitch it, but I decided because I was going to use regular sewing thread, but because I would need two different colors so it wouldn't show through as I stitched the back, it wouldn't show through to the front, I decided I was ready to be done with it, decided just to hot glue the felt to the back of it. So it turned out okay. For the stem and then the creases in the pumpkin, I used the back stitch and it was okay. I sat there with it, and if you've ever followed or heard of slow stitching, it is just hand sewing and decorating, overlapping materials and just stitching slowly. And that's basically what I did. I just sat watching TV and then stitching this slowly and kind of enjoying the process. So yeah, is it a coaster that I would make 6 of? No. The coaster part, the square, did not take long. I did have to block it, and you can see it still wants to pull in where the surface slip stitching is, but that didn't take long, but the stitching on top did. And to do like 6 coasters would take forever. And so because I didn't want to do this satin stitch again, the second one, I had already made the coasters or the squares. And so the second one, I did a cross stitch pumpkin. So I used the same outline of the drawing and just figured out as I went along. I basically cross stitched along the edging and then filled in the middle, and then went back through and did the back stitching for the outline and the creases on the pumpkin. And this one went much faster. It still turned out to be quite a thick backing to it, but it did come out and work up a little faster. I'm not sure which one I like better. Which one, as far as looks go, that I like better. This one was much easier. The cross stitch was much easier, quicker to do. But I think if I work on my satin stitching, it might get easier and less bulky in the back. But they're cute. My husband and I will use it. I will not be making any more just yet, but I'm not one to easily give up. I will probably try again, maybe with a different design and different yarn, because I do like this book. I love this one up front. It's got a lot of other stitches besides satin stitch, which might be helpful, make things a little bit easier, projects a little bit easier to do. All right, so that is the not so scary, hashtag not so scary make along, that I will put those who are doing the make along in the description box. But of course you can always search hashtag not so scary Halloween and find people's videos. The ladies that are hosting it put a video up every Monday for the month of October. So, am I done with that though? The answer is no, because one of the ladies who is hosting, I should say, the make along is Cassandra at Craftably Ever After, and she has a pattern that I thought was so cute I have to do. I am not an amigurumi maker, like I do make them. I make probably more wearables than I do anything else, but I have made her Buddy Bear, and this is it. This is the one I made, which is in one of the videos, my monthly makes videos, that I will link up here. But I love this pattern. He turned out so cute, and it is a free pattern on her website. So I love Buddy Bear. And so she has a pattern for Not So Scary Halloween called Pumpkin Buddy. And I'll try to show you this part. Let me fold it so you can see the picture well. So there you go. That is Pumpkin Buddy. And I saw it. And one of the other hosts of this make-along, Lee at Lee Mac, she made one. It was precious and really made me want to make one. So I have actually begun the buddy part of my Pumpkin Buddy. And so at the end of October in my monthly makes video, then you will see Pumpkin Buddy. And so I'm not quite through with the hashtag Not So Scary Halloween. The third make along is joining in with a YouTuber who lives in South Africa. Her name is Mariette, and she is de Boerfro. And of course, I will put all the links in the description box below. But she is hosting the Make Along Socktober. And it is so much fun. We have met up on Google Meet, and so been able to spend an hour about every week just chatting and seeing what each other is making. And it's great to connect with knitters, crocheters that are actually here in South Africa. Although it doesn't matter, you don't have to be in South Africa to join this make along. And it's only the middle of October, so you are welcome to join with us. So I had started in September 2 socks, one pair for my daughter and a pair for me, and I actually got them done in the month of October, even though I started in September. So this is the shorty sock. It is using a cotton and wool blend from Premier Yarns called Cotton Collage. And So I finished that. I just did a shorty sock. I used the Crazy Sock Ladies vanilla sock pattern and just made it a shorty sock and then did the ribbing along the top of the foot. But the rest of it is really using her vanilla sock pattern. So, and this is the other foot. So I completed both pairs or both socks for a completed pair of shorty socks for me. Again, I talk about this in my last monthly makes video, which will be linked above. And then I finished my daughter's sock finally. I don't think I was done by that last video. I can't remember, but I did get her socks done. This is using my Yarnable subscription from Hypnotic Yarns. This colorway is called the Raven, and it is 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon sock blend, vanilla, Crazy Sock Ladies vanilla sock pattern. And so that's the other one. And so I finished this pair in October. And I have cast on 2 more pairs. So I use a 9-inch circular. I'm a very tight knitter, so I use a 2.25 millimeter 9-inch circular knitting needles. And so I have 2 of those, and so I cast on 2 more sets of socks. So are working on 2 more pairs and have cast on 1 sock of each pair. So the first one is, this is the wool that I am using. Again, it's my Yarnable subscription. This one is from January of 2023 called Bougie New Year. And this is what the pattern of that yarn is looking like. Is that not amazing? I absolutely love it. So I'm knitting it cuff down, Crazy Sock Ladies vanilla sock pattern. Absolutely love the pattern on this sock. And this is for my husband. So it will take me a little longer because his foot's bigger. It's not big, but it's bigger than mine. And then the other one I am doing with this yarn, again, Yarnable subscription. This one is called Raspberry. Not sure I have the label with me. I'll have to look that up and put it up here on the screen, but it is Raspberry something. Again, it is the same. It is 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. And this is the way this yarn is working up. So much fun, so much pink. I love it. And I am actually using her morning coffee sock pattern. I did change it and do the 2x2 ribbing instead of the ribbing that was called for in the pattern. But the rest of it is the same. I did only do 20 on my husband's socks. I did 25 rounds of ribbing. This one I'm only doing 20. It calls for 72 rounds on the leg, but I may stick with 60, but I'll try it on and see, because that's what I do for me from the vanilla sock pattern, is I do 60 rounds for the leg. So we'll see. I'll try it on. I may want to have a longer leg, but really this pattern is really working up nicely. Not difficult. It is a 6-round repeat, but every other round is just a round of knit stitches. So it's not difficult to remember. It's just making sure I know which row I'm on. But as I'm knitting and as I'm learning to knit, because I'm pretty new, I don't know now if I would be considered still a beginner. I've been knitting for over a year, but anyway, pretty new. And I am finding that I see my stitches. I can see knit and purl stitches even with fingering weight yarn. And so I think that's it. Once you begin, whether it's knit or crochet, once you start just doing it, you begin to see the stitches. It reminds me of when you move into a new area and you are lost. You don't know how to get places, but the more you drive around, the more you learn back ways, the more you realize, wow, that's where that place was, whatever it is. And you start to understand. It's the same with, I think, with knitting and crochet and the stitches. You begin to just see things better. And that helps you knit or crochet better and feel more comfortable. So the only thing I really need to get comfortable with, though, is frogging. Frogging and knitting scare me. And so anyway, that's why I don't want to make a mistake, because I don't want to have to frog or even tink back. I find that I can do that, but then all of a sudden I make a mistake even tinking one stitch at a time back, and then I'm lost again. So anyway, but I'm sure the more I do it, the better that will be, the easier it'll be. And at least I hope so. So those are my projects I am working through, and just wanted to come on and update you in the middle of the month. This may be a regular thing where I update all my making progress. I always consider myself a jack of all trades. There are so many things I love to do, like the knitting and the crocheting. I love baking. I even like photography. I love taking pictures of flowers. A lot of the pictures I put up, the thumbnails, some of them are pictures that I've taken. And but yet, I don't know that I'm a master yet. Maybe crochet, but I don't know. But I feel like the more time I have to practice, maybe I'll become a master of one, at least. Y'all have a wonderful day. Thanks for joining me. Bye.